Hey, what is up guys? So we are going to be doing the deck profile for the Demise Spellbook Shaddolls. This is the one that a lot of you guys have been looking forward to actually building yourself. Maybe you have some of these cards. But really quickly, I do also want to mention that there's a poll going on right now using the YGO Amino app that I talked about last week. And anyway, so I'm making a list of the top 10 pendulum monsters. So if you guys want to participate in that, I'll leave a link down below in the description box. You guys can check out the Amino app. But this list is going to be fan favorites plus what is considered meta, so to speak. So if, like I said, if you guys want to participate in that, and we'll make a list together because I'll be making a future video on that. If you guys don't know what the YGO Amino map is, which is the dual amino for Yu-Gi-Oh! App, I'll leave a link down below in the description box so you guys can check out that app. It's a free app, by the way. It just lets me connect with you guys a little bit easier and we can make polls and stuff. But if you guys also haven't seen the deck in action, like you want to see what the heck this deck does, I'll leave a link down below in the description box as well. It's the Demise Spellbook Shaddolls in action, so you guys can kind of understand how the heck this deck plays. But anyways, let's finally get started with the deck profile, and then I'll kind of explain some of the stuff. So first off, we got 2 copies of Shaddolls Beast, 2 copies of Dragon, 2 copies of Squamata, 2 copies of Hedgehog, and 1 Falco. For the Spellbook monsters, there's only actually 3 monsters here. We got triple copy of the Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. And then for the spells, we got Spellbook of Power, 3 copies of Shaddolls Fusion, 1 Spellbook of Master, 3 card of Demise, making pretty much every deck like relevant right now in the game. And then we have Spellbook of Eternity, Foolish Burial, 3 copies of Spellbook of Secrets, 2 Duality, 1 Shaddolls Fusion, 2 copies of Spellbook of Fate, 2 copies of the Tower, 3 copies of Shadow Games, 1 copy of Shaddolls Core, 3 Solemn Strike, and then of course 1 Solemn Warning. Now if some of you guys, you don't have 3 copies of this, obviously Bottomless is a good choice, and then from there you guys can kind of, you know, maybe tinker around with multiple copies of perhaps maybe adding another Squamata, because Squamata is the most versatile card. It can pretty much go for whatever you want. For the most part, I would say Shaddolls and Spellbooks are relatively budget friendly, but the thing is, if you're putting triple cards in Demise, that can get kind of pricey in the deck. So I don't know if I consider this budget friendly, but maybe if you already had a bunch of these lying around, you know, you definitely need cards in Demise though. Do not try to build this deck without cards of Demise. Highly discourage that, because that's kind of the point of the deck, is to Demise and draw a bunch of cards. But anyways, we have 3 copies of Shakunaga, 2 copies of Ono. I always mispronounce those, but El Shaddai Onolotalis. And then we got 3 copies of Winda, 1 Trish, 1 Omega, 1 Clearwing, 1 Black Rose, 1 Downer Magician, 1 Cassell, and Shining Elf. Now, obviously, you guys can probably see that you can easily take out the Winda as well as the Shakunaga. You don't really need 3 copies of each for the most part, but it is there technically as an option. But go ahead and you can decide for whatever reason why you want to play certain cards at a certain number. Feel free to go ahead and swap those out if you want to. I mean, I don't think you're really going to get it. I mean, there are always times where your opponent gives you something, so at that point, if they're giving you like an earth monster, you know, like a creature swap or whatever, then you can, I guess, make this a little bit easier. But for the most part, if you wanted to throw in like Maxi so you can make this, I can encourage that as well. The only problem with Maxi is card of Demise, yeah. But obviously, if they're going first, then, you know, Maxi is still not a bad card. I think you could throw in a Maxi. However, this card is water, so Onolotalis, pretty decent card. You know, it makes it so it can hurt Monarchs pretty hard, as you guys have seen in the replay. Again, you guys watch the replay, you guys will see the plays with this. Pretty good card indeed. As far as the side deck, this is good against Cosmos. This is good against Pendulums. This is good against anything that's like anti-meta-ish, real trap heavy. This can be used against a lot of different things, specifically Pendulum decks. If they don't happen to have a Spellcaster, then they will lose really fast. And then of course you have 3 Master Shriek Monarchs, and then this can be used against everything. Everything in your deck is essentially Spellcaster, so at that point, Raveler Warlords doesn't really hurt you at all. But anyways, yeah, have some fun with this deck. I think you guys can make some changes to this one. I just wanted to give it to you guys as is from the exact replays that I showed off from you guys. But I definitely think you guys can drop one of these, one of the other cards. Maybe add in a 101, maybe add in the Utopia, you know. You can just, you know, mix in other things. Generally, the deck doesn't really need to go into exceeds too much other than Castell, but I think Castell is like kind of one of the generic cards that people like to go to. It's one of those go-to cards. And keep in mind that Falco is still a tuner, so if you want to play like other synchros, maybe you got the new the Crystal Wing Dragon. You could technically make Crystal Wing Dragon. It's not going to come up too often, but the fact that, you know, you can make it, you know, sometimes, again, sometimes your opponent, your creature swaps, or drama trio, whatever the case may be, where you get extra monsters, it can help you make other obscure things that you normally wouldn't make. I mean, heck, you can put the, what is that Shaddolls that no one plays. I mean, heck, you can make Wendigo, right? You technically, if you... It'd be really minus, but let's say the Fiendish Chain or something like that. You can maybe use Castell or something like that after they Fiendish Chain, and you can make a Wendigo. But for the most part, I feel like the extra deck is not super relevant, other than, of course, your like core cards. Like Trish is definitely really good to keep in the deck. Obviously, this and Winda are two other great cards that you definitely want to have in the deck. But you can definitely drop a Winda and definitely like a Shekanaga if you would like to. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on if you guys would change anything. I would love to know your thoughts on changing anything down below in the comment section. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'm signing out.